Hi, and a warm welcome to my Ask an Industry Expert show. I'm not even sure if I'm going to call it like that. Nevertheless, this is what's going to happen here, and I am here to get you ready to feel comfortable on stage, in any conversation, in front of the camera, wherever you are going into a presentation mode. And we have to make one thing clear for you to understand, because you may be, oh, that doesn't apply to me. Well, I tell you one thing. This entire world out there is a stage. The moment you leave your house, the moment you step out of your door into whatever is going on out there, you are going into presentation mode. You are never the same when you are amongst people like when you are with yourself. Even the people that are highly trained or very centered within them have a kind of persona behavior when with other people, and that is okay. This is who we are as human beings. Nevertheless, you can learn how to stay calm and comfortable in any kind of conflict that happens, facing another person, facing a crowd, facing your inner true self. So, and this is what we're going to do here today together. And today, I'm going to give you 7 key tools to take with you to be prepared for no matter what kind of situation, for a stressful stage appearance, a stressful moment of presentation in your company, in front of your spouse, or whatever you feel like is coming towards you where you have to, make a case, convince people, get them on board. First of all, let me tell you a story. So I used to be a film actress, TV actress, stager. I was singing, and I did that from age 8. So I started out really as a child, and I have been on gigantic stages, and I have been on very small ones. And I remember specifically one event where a huge American blues star was coming to Europe, and she is known not to have an opening band. For some magical reasons, my band got a call. Hey, do you want to open for her? And we were like, well, wait a second. We are? Okay, of course we are. I hadn't noticed how big she was. And then we were flown in to Bucharest, and it was the biggest house, the biggest theater. It was beautiful, it was old, it had those like ranks up, and there were like thousands of people in that theater. And when we flew in there, something didn't fly with us: our equipment. Back in the days, the show that we had prepared was a show with a lot of shadalio, a lot of lights, a lot of, stuff that was happening around us. Also, well, one reason was because I liked that kind of music. The other was I had tremendous stage fright. The more that is happening around you on stage, the more you can bury yourself inside. And that's what I used to do. That's what I used to do in my shows. So lights, sounds, stuff that is going on, so I can hide inside this entire show and try to find my sweet spot, which was really hard for me back in the days. So we got there. No equipment except for my 2 guys and 3 guitars. The evening comes closer, and we're getting ready. I see her preparing on the piano, her show, and warming up, and she's popping all those pills because, she has the same problem. She has tremendous stage fright, even though she's one of the greatest stars out there in the blues scene up until today. And I'm like, oh my God, if she's nervous, I will be dying. The time comes, my guys are going out on the stage, and we had decided to make a very intimate setup. Well, what else could we do, right? So we made this like very small setup, and there were 3 stools, 3 guitars, and us. And the boys go out, and I walk after them. And I notice whilst walking towards the chair, and all of a sudden, all those like seats and all those like thousands of people, I'm blacking out. And I'm like, oh boy, pretty sure I'm fainting here, and this is the end of my career. A short moment later, I kind of wake up, sitting on my stool, singing the most intimate performance I had ever given in my entire life. I was gentle, I was truthful, I was loving, and I was fascinated by the fact that I expected something to happen to me because the fear was taking me over, but I had no choice. I had no chance of resisting that fear. I had to allow it to run me over. And that allowed my body to be acknowledged, to be seen, and to just do what it did best, perform. Because I was a stager. I loved what I did. I still do up until this day. And my body answered in a way that was the most fascinating moment, one of the most fascinating moments of my life. And this is something, when you have made an experience like that, you start to understand your fear will not kill you. The opposite is the case. If you allow your fear to run through you, and then even learn the tools that I'm going to give you in a minute, to use that fear, to use that extra energy, to use that power for your own good, you are unstoppable. You're getting into a place of severe love, severe connection with your audience, because first of all, you allow to connect to your soul, to your body, to what makes you. And the moment you're connecting to who you really are, you can actually bring it forward, and it's going to be appreciated. After the show, a girl came to me and she was like, "Oh my God, can I give you a hug?" And I was like, "That is so sweet." And she said that was the most fragile and intimate performance she had ever seen. And it was touching her so deeply. And she just wanted to give me a hug as a thank you for this vulnerability that I allowed them to see. Well, it wasn't really choice. It was more like, a byproduct to allowing my body to run through the fear. But it taught me a huge lesson. When we allow for the things to happen, they won't kill us. Well, of course, they will make us stronger. And from that day on, I have started to seek out tools and practices and methodologies that will help me make that moment a little easier to bear. Because let's say the freak out I had up until that moment was crazy, and you don't need to have that all the time. No one does. Therefore, we're going to start with the basic steps of preparation that I do till the day. And I love them. And even when I go just into town and I have a day where I'm just not so on, and I meet someone and that's a person that I look up to, and I want to talk to them, and I want to be, I want to sound fancy, because sometimes that happens, right? Sometimes we want to make an impression on someone, but we're just not there that day. Even in those moments, I do some of those steps subconsciously and in very tiny amounts. And it's not about how much you do them, how big you do them, how right you do them. It's about the fact that you know them. It's about the fact that you can use your mind to bring it into the state of, this is what I would need from you right now. And the biochemistry in your mind already gives you the response of, okay, I see. You need me to calm down in a specific way through, for example, your breath. Then I will already work with you because I understand. Your mind wants to be understood, and it wants to understand you. The more clear you are, the more you give direction that has been trained and consciously chosen, the easier it will for you guys to work along, mind, body, and soul. Number one, preparing the ground. Your breath, when you get freaked out, will go short. It will go fast, and it will annoy you like hell, because what you feel is like, oh my God. Oh, okay. So you breathe more and more and more. You're hyperventilating, which means you're getting a little bit dizzy. Your rib cage is getting tense and tight. Your diaphragm is getting tense and tight. Usually when the diaphragm does that, and it helps you regulate, it helps you open, expand your lungs and contract them again, it actually now starts to hinder that process, because you have a lot of pressure put onto this, like, oh God, I'm breathing shallow. And you're doing that with your body, and you're clenching, and your muscles are tensing, and also your diaphragm is tensing. A lot of people have been trained to do the belly breath, right? The yoga belly breath. So you breathe out into the front. Not in that situation, please. Because when you put pressure on more pressure, either you do it so long that the pressure, the pressured muscle, the tension has to give in, but that usually comes only really a long time after or through a massage and stuff like that. But you don't have the time for that. So what you want to do, you want to take away the pressure from your diaphragm. And that means you are going to breathe into your back, because the tips of your lungs are basically below your rib cage in the back. They're also kind of in the front, the way you look at it. Nevertheless, you can reach them easier by putting your hands on the bottom of your rib cage, so on the last ribs, and you just grab them here like you're holding your ribs, right? And this is where you're breathing into. You're breathing your ribs into your open hands. What you're going to do with that, you take away the mental tension of the sensation that you have here in your body and you really don't like. You take away the tension on your diaphragm and on your rib cage contracting more and more and more. And you allow your body to open into a direction that usually there is no command or direction towards. So it's something new, and novelty, as we have learned in one of the last shows, is something that changes your biochemistry, your entire energetic setup in the blink of an eye. And it helps you, it helps your body, mind, and soul to realign. So number one, you ground yourself through your breath by doing a back breath. By the way, I have been trained in that breath when I was trained for opera singing. Again, I was very young, and what they did there is they had this like leather belt, which they really press around you, and it's getting really, really tight, so that you, in the beginning, you only breathe into that part. But you have to learn, otherwise you can't sing the note. You can't use your pipes the way you want it. So you have to learn to send the breath, to let it fall through all the compression, all the pressure in your body, into the tips of your lungs that are below the rib cage, where the body cannot contract too much anymore, where you're not closed in, but it naturally opens up. This is where I have learned it. This is what I use up until today. I love that exercise, and I give it to a lot of my clients, and trust me, it will make a huge difference. Number two, you have grounded your body with your breath. Now you're going to ground your body with your body. And that is, first of all, bring both feet flat on the ground. Don't sit before a show, a presentation, a conversation with a partner where there is something to discuss that is really hard for you to speak of, to bring forward, because you're afraid of the consequences, right? You're afraid of the reaction. Before you go into any kind of those situations, you do not sit cross-legged and, on half side, whatever. You either stand up and ground yourself, meaning putting both feet flat on the ground, feeling the entire foot touching the ground below, feeling the strength. And also, here's a kicker. This is you being pulled towards Earth, because what? Earth is rotating, hovering through space. So it's pulling you towards it. The more it pulls you, the heavier you get. The heavier you get, the more you have support from below, and the easier it is for you to let go. It is the classic picture of the tree. The thicker the roots, the stronger the roots, the easier it is for the tree to branch out, and the thinner and lighter the branches can be. And when a storm comes, only the thick branches break, the dry ones, not the thin ones. So what you want to do is you want to have a thick stem, ground yourself deeply, and therefore let go of the top part of the top branches, the twigs, so they can counter any storm. And you do that literally by putting your feet flat on the ground. And you can, when you do it standing up, you can a little bit swing from left to right. And whenever you swing over the center, you notice, this is where my center is. By notifying your body, this is where my center is, you kind of build an anchor point here. which means when later you were in the situation where you get all dizzy and woozy, you had right before reminded your body where the center point, where the strength is, and your body will direct itself towards it as an anchor point, because no physical body, no mental body, no energetic body likes to be under stress for a long time. So it always tries to balance you out. When you have notified it of the balance point consciously before, it will find that point and it will always bring you back into the center. Number 2, ground your body. Number 3, the third eye activation, or the light. When working as an actress, there's one thing you will learn, and you will learn it the hard way. It is finding your marker. Finding your marker for the camera, so it's on you and you're sharp, right? And everything is perfect. And the light. Finding your light is something you can train very easily, and it has 2 effects. First of all, when you're standing in a good light, you feel lit. You feel like the world is kind to you. The world is friendly. The world is open. There is a light on you. You're not in the dark. This is number 1. Number 2, we have this little pineal gland here, the so-called third eye, the seat of your intuition. When that third eye gets hit with light, it supports your entire being with intuition, with making a connection to your soul, with making a connection to your deeper knowing that is beyond what you have recently learned, that is beyond of what you're going to tell because this is for you important facts to be known by others. It connects to the knowledge that you have subconsciously rooted deep inside of you, maybe even from an ancestral point of view. The third eye helps you to stay calm, to stay focused, and even when you lose track, even when you lose your line, even when you lose the red thread connecting your story that you're bringing and you're blacking out, your third eye point invites you and helps you to find your way back into the story. Or sometimes saying, I have actually lost direction in my story, but let me tell you differently. This is what the third eye will provide you with, but you need to activate it. And how you activate it is very simple. You get into the situation, and let's say out there is the stage. You can't go out there right now. You can't prepare for that. Fine. So behind stage, you just stand up tall, or you sit somewhere and you close your eyes. And then you search with your forehead where most light is hitting that part of your brain. That part, by the way, is also where your mirror neurons sit. Mirror neurons is what makes us learn from one another, because like that we connect. When we're getting a little bit more alike, it is easier for us people to connect, therefore to come onto the same page, and therefore to learn from one another, because we're not a threat to one another anymore. So you're not only activating your third eye point, your pineal gland, but also your mirror neurons. So you're just searching for the light, and I'm asking you right now to do it. Close your eyes and just move your head and notice where most light hits your forehead. And just sit in that feeling for a brief moment. Feel it, notice it, let it sink in, and let it feel the soothing it gives you, the support it gives you. Isn't that beautiful? This is what you do, the same thing when you go out on stage or in front of a camera for a moment. And no one says when you go out on stage or in front of a camera that you boom, after we get out there and be like, haha. No, you can walk out to your marker, to your point, and for a moment just soak in the situation. Ram Dass, by the way, is one of the most amazing examples for a person who uses that or used that frequently. He connected himself to the ground. He calmed his breath down. He closed his eyes. He was soaking in the energy. He was lifting his head. He was getting ready to be there for his audience, his connection point, because this is what we're doing when we are putting ourselves out there. We're connecting. So this is searching for the light, activating your pineal gland and your mirror neurons, and preparing yourself to be ready. Now the next point, mudras. You will see it in a lot of politicians. You will see it in Elon Musk. Mudras. Hand holding is not only giving you security. A lot of people, for example, tend to do this, hold a pen in their hand, because it gives them something to hold on to, or a microphone. If you don't have something like that, you use a mudra. For example, you can hold your hands like that. You can bring your thumbs together in whatever way, and you're connecting left and right hemisphere of your brain, because in the tip of your fingers, you have direct connection points to different parts of your brain. In yogic science, they say when you put your hands around your skull, where your fingers land is the areas where you are going to activate regions that are in need of activation right now to support your case. So here your thumb stands for your stem brain, and then it goes kind of like that. Whichever part of your brain, usually we don't know, but you want to elevate, this is the finger you connect to. When you connect it in that way, so that you press the tip of your finger, you are activating it. When you want to calm it down, you are pressing it down on your nail. For example, the Buddhi Mudra, little finger, connection point to Mercury, to your communicational self. If your communication is not very strong that day, well, you use that, and you can use that really gently. You don't need others to see that. You can just do it like that. Or you can play a little bit with your hands. You might say, oh, that's going to make me look weak. That's going to make me look nervous. So what? If you're nervous right now and you have a little bit of a movement in your fingers, let it play out. Activate what you can activate. Get the support that you got. Any kind of mudras that is like holding both hands is giving you stability. If you do it like that, if you do it like that, anything that really is like both hands interlace or fingers interlace, that is like overall stability. You can do a mudra like that, where you point the energy towards you and the other part of energy away from you. If you want to know more about that, I'm going to do a video about mudras someone in the future. Otherwise, you find a lot of stuff online. So use your hands. The extra energy that is running through you, I have been speaking of in one of my last videos, that is working for you in case you use it. You can play out through your hands. You can use it by working and talking with your hands. I mean, there is so many cultures out there that hand gestures are part of their communicational skills, and it helps them massively to not only transport what they want to let you know through their words, but also through their body language. It is a more overall speaking. Use that. Next one, exchange of observer and observed. You think you are the observed on stage? Well, yeah, of course. But you're also observing. And you're observing a whole lot of people. You can get out on stage or in front of a group of people and take yourself a moment to connect. You can look around you. The other day, I have been giving a show in front of, I think it was 1,500 people, and it was a box ring. So, like a boxing sparring ring. And I was walking through all the people towards the middle, walking up the stairs, and in the middle, my gear was built up, and I was about to give a show. And the moment I walked towards that middle aisle, I looked around me, and I looked at everyone, and I got up there, and I stood there, allowing people to clap, soaking that in. Soaking in that they are giving me the appreciation of doing that now. But I was also trying to look into each and every face that I could spot. Having this moment of, I see you too. And through that, you give the audience a little bit of a, ooh, I'm being seen. And they get humble. They get a little bit smaller, but in a good way. Not in a way of they come down from their high horse, like, come on, show me what you got. This is a thought I would anyway never allow in my mind to linger before I do something like that. Forget about it. If you start out like that, it's too bad. Why to do it in the first place? To prove yourself or to prove others' expectations, which you don't know what they are, so you can't meet them because you don't know what they are? So, no. You turn it around. You are becoming the observer for a brief moment. And through that, you connect to the audience. You tell them, I'm here with you. We're in this together. And now all of us are going to create. All of us are going to participate on me speaking, me sharing my love for a specific topic, or my music, or my art, whatever it is. It is bringing everyone together into a creative space, and us human beings were made to be creative beings, not to be consumers, but to be creators. And we create through consuming something, but building it directly into who we are, allowing it to create something new through us, not to consume, to swallow it, and then whatever. So take them with you into the equation of creating together. Change the perspective from being the observed to being the observer. Like the universe, you are the observer and the observed at the same time. Speaking of time, who says you don't have time? Who says you need to rush? No one does. You do not need to rush. At no point in a presentation, rushing is not necessary. I said it before, I say it again. Fear runs on speed, and contemplation runs on slow energy. So even though, let's say, you are presenting to your firm a big case and you're so nervous about it, and time is running out because you were supposed to be there like 2 minutes ago, and you're running towards the conference room and you're rushing in, take the moment from the moment you get into the situation to the moment you begin making your case. And that moment can be you put your stuff down, you for a moment feel the room, you sense it, smell, you swallow, you take a breath, you give yourself a glass of water. And even if people are like, are you serious? You can do it in a way, I'm with you in a minute, I just want to be there fully for you. I just want to catch my breath for a moment. No one will say anything about that. People rather you be calm, focused, and in a directive where you really know what you're talking about, and not you, I'm sorry, okay, let me begin. No one likes that. No boss likes that. No coworker likes that. No spouse likes that. No audience likes that. People rather have someone who is in their game, who take the time to get ready and then to, okay, here I am. Let's go. So take your time. Watch your steps towards where you are going to begin. You can for a moment even stand there and just catch your breath by putting your hands into your back. Place your feet firmly on the ground. Have this okay. And you know what I just did? I stopped my breath. Stopping your breath creates a little stop of the fluids inside your spine. And when you release your breath, it shoots up and gives you a little kicker to the head. So it's kind of firing up your mind and giving you a little focus boost. Start to use stuff like that. It doesn't need to take hours, but take a little time to be ready. In a way, they say you're born ready, but just because you're born ready doesn't mean energetically you're in the best place. So take the time to get to the being born ready by catching your breath, catching your energy, allowing your heart rate to come down for a moment. And even when it rises up, because you're getting more and more nervous, because you have expectations running inside of you, then notify yourself on, it's rising up, but it's not going to kill me. It's going to come down eventually. It always does. It always has. Here's a trick, by the way, for everyone who is not doing cold showers. You want to practice that through cold showers. In the morning, when you do your cold shower, you stand under the shower until you notice your heartbeat slowly coming down. First of all, it will rise up, will go through the roof. You'll be like, your breath will be really short. Everything will be really tense and really tight. But at some point, and it's not too long in, it will calm down. When you bring your conscious self on noticing that moment, you train your body to understand what it is you want it to do and that you trust it to do exactly that. But that's just a little side story. Finally, connecting to the love of the topic. If you don't love the topic you're going to talk about, and I don't mean you have a business proposal that someone gave you that you have to take care of, but you don't really believe in it. You don't have to love a topic you were assigned to, you simply don't love, but you can always love the action behind it. You bringing your best out there. You doing what you were trained to do, or what you trained yourself through university to do. As a lawyer, as a consultant, why did you become a lawyer in the first place? Why did you become a consultant? Even if you wanted to make a lot of money, then love the fact that you just through this action are making a lot of money. Find whatever possible in that equation that you can love and connect to that. It's a kind of sexy feeling. It's just like, oh, nice. That's what I'm doing it for. Yeah, I like that. This is what you connect to. This is your connection point in the moment of presentation. So these were my 7 steps, my definite go-tos that I always use. I always have them at hand. Just thinking of them makes me calm down and makes me be the person I actually really like. You know, there's something fun, there's something effortless, there's something light. And trust me, I have been through all of the panic attacks and fears. I couldn't breathe. I was vomiting. I was fainting. I forgot my lines on the most expensive movie sets and scenes where I really had to work out, and I forgot my lines. I had one time where I had to take 25 takes. This is like every producer hates you. You're out after that. But my co-partner was super loving. And after that, I understood that I have to rethink some things, that I haven't been there for the right reasons. So I did, which is why I do what I do here today. And as I said, I have been in the entertainment industry for far more than 25 years, but I always say 25 years because there were active years actively participating in the industry as a performer, in front of camera, behind it, in front of stage, as a producer, even as a music producer, as a writer. So I have seen the various departments, and I think I kind of have a little bit of understanding of what is going on there and what is needed from you and what you can bring to the table when you come with the right intentions and with the best of knowledge and with some tricks and tools, which I'm going to teach you continuously on this channel. My name is Esther Seibt. Thank you so much for listening, and I'm looking forward to see you in the next video. All my love.